Hey y'all, what's going on? I'm here for the Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 9, Episode 9. Actually, classes were supposed to start back up today, but they canceled it due to, the snow that we got here on Saturday. But from my understanding, the roads are still pretty bad. So yeah, they canceled all the classes today. I don't know if it's going to be like that tomorrow too, but yeah, let's just get into this episode. I'm going to start it off with Messy Whitfield, aka Sheree, because her shit wasn't that important. So, Messy Whitfield, she, is writing a kind of like a tell-all book, like, novel, kind of like a book or whatever. Some of the things are going to be true, and then some of the things are kind of going to be kind of like a stretch of the truth or whatever, embellished, as she would say. She's meeting with her publicist or whatever in regards to the book. Nobody knew for the past 2 years that she was writing the book and everything, and she said that some people might get mad, and during the conversation that we find out that one of the characters named Paris in the book is based on Nene Leakes and everything, about her being, an ex-stripper and how they have that frenemy type of relationship or whatever. And I said, this is either going to go one or two ways with Nene Leakes. Either she's going to laugh about this shit and not, get mad or whatever, or Nene is going to come out and she going to pop off. So I don't know which one we going to end up getting whenever this book come out or whatever. But anyway, so moving on from that, later on we see her, doing some extreme workout or whatever. And Bob shows up and everything, and she's like that he gotta drop at least 50 plus pounds for them to be able to, get something going between them again or whatever. I'm just like, girl, okay. But anyway, so he was like, I thought I was just gonna be taking some pills and drinking some smoothies or something to lose this weight and all, and all this other stuff. So they doing the extreme workout. Bob, he ain't ready. He falling all over the goddamn place. Sheree gets a call from her publicist or whatever, and she walks off to talk and everything. Bob is following her, trying to listen to the conversation or whatever, and he like, why you holding secrets and blah blah blah. And she tells him that she wrote a book or whatever, and one of the characters is based on him, and blase blase. And he says, I'm proud of you or whatever, but and he shades her. He was like, but I don't want this to be a thing that you start and don't finish or whatever. Pretty much what he was saying. And they flash back to some of the stuff that she started but never finished, including that She by Sheree clothing line or whatever that she was supposed to do. So yeah. Moving on from that, let's talk about Portia, because she didn't have a lot going on either. She's still looking for a house and everything. Her brother comes over with some boxes to help her, pack up the rest of her stuff, and she's going to stay back with her mother until she finds a place to stay. So later on, she's at her mom's house or whatever. She sneaks Todd, the guy Todd that she's seeing. She sneaks him in or whatever, and he's like, I thought we was going out or whatever. This, that, and the third. But she shows him the little Yanni egg or whatever that she got from that Yanni egg place last week or whatever. When her and Shamia had that shit up they goddamn cooter, coochie cooter or whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? And she explains, what it does or whatever, how it's supposed to make your walls tighter and everything. Like I said, I couldn't do that shit, but I mean, whatever floats her boat. Anyway, so she says, she feels like a virgin again, sneaking him up, into her room and all this other stuff. And I was just like, oh my God. Like, I was annoyed a little bit. You know what I'm saying? She's trying to, she's burning something. I don't know exactly what she was burning, but she was, trying to make some smoke go around in the room, to give off some good energy. You know what I'm saying? And, next thing she's trying to, I guess, like, feed him a strawberry or something, and somehow she falls off the damn bed, this, that, and the third, and I was just like, oh my God. Like, something about Todd, I told you, I think Todd is very attractive and all this other stuff, but something about him kind of screams dumb blonde to me. But I mean, hey, it's a match made in heaven, because Portia is a dumb blonde. They're both attractive and they're both dumb blondes. I mean, can't get no better than that, right? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so moving on from that, let's talk about Candy. So, Candy, she's planning her annual, I think this is like her fourth annual bedroom candy event or whatever. We get reintroduced to the guy Johnny that's been working for her or whatever, and she finds out, I think from Todd, right? Yeah, Todd, that Johnny put up some Instagram posts, pretty much throwing subliminals at Candy or whatever, and all this other stuff, talking about fake this and fake that and blase blase. And she's like, she not understanding where this all coming from, because he had his own business on the side or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And she gave him jobs, to work with her to help out his business and everything, to have his business booming. And she was like that he kept dropping the ball, so she had to let him go, but he still does stuff for her, in which she pays him and everything. So Candy, she's telling Todd about Portia or whatever, and the conversation that they had last week and everything, and how she's trying to resolve issues and all this other stuff. And Candy is like, bitch, don't try to check me on some shit that's true or whatever, this, that, and third. And Todd, he feels like, that the ladies find any and every reason to argue with each other, in which I kind of agree with him on that, you know what I'm saying? And then, with these ladies, they argue over and over and over again about the same issues. We be like 2 or 3 seasons later, and they still arguing about the same shit. So, anyways, Portia, she also talks about how Portia thought it was wrong for Candy to spread the conversation that, her and Phaedra had with one another, this, that, and third, which, I do agree with that and everything. Candy, she's like, I mean, Portia, do you ever speak up for me or whatever? She's saying this to Todd and everything. And, Todd is like, Portia would beat a bitch ass for little to nothing. I said, well, I mean, what lie did he tell? You know what I'm saying? And Candy realizes that it's obvious that Portia has completely took Phaedra's side, which, like I said last week, Portia, it seemed like from day one when, Candy and Phaedra started to have this rift in their friendship, it's like Portia just completely took Phaedra's side instead of being neutral or whatever, when she was supposed to be friends with Candy too. And like I said, that's probably part of the reason why her and Candy's friendship is not as, tight as it used to be. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, moving on from that. So Candy, she has, she's at her event or whatever, the bedroom convention or whatever you want to call it. Don Juan and Karma, as Mama Joyce calls Carmen, and the other guy that be there with them, they're there and everything. Johnny, he comes over and all this other stuff, and Candy is telling us that she still likes him as a person or whatever, this, that, and the third, but she had to, let him go as far as like business is concerned and everything. And she pulls him over to the side about the whole Instagram post or whatever. And he felt like Candy should have had a conversation with him or whatever, this, that, and the third, when she fired him in February. And she's like, you had a side company or whatever, this, that, and the third. And she says that, you seem like you were more focused on that or whatever, and forget about the shit that you had to do when it came to my business and everything. And she says it was just business, it was nothing personal or whatever. And Don Juan, I guess, was the one to actually like let him go and everything or whatever, this, that, and the third. And so Johnny was like, yeah, but the post wasn't directed towards you though, so I guess the post was mainly for Candy and everything, the post that Johnny had put up and everything. And he's sitting up here saying that he felt like they all could have sat down and had a conversation. Candy is like that. I don't need to have no extra conversations with you about anything or whatever, this, that, and the third. And I do agree with Candy on that. It's like, I mean, you working for somebody or whatever, and they choose to let you go. They tell you the reason why they let you go, this, that, and the third. There is no extra conversation. Not in the real world anyway. You know what I'm saying? There is no extra conversation. It's like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Um, but at the same time, Candy did. She started getting real buck with him and all this other stuff. And my thing is, like I said, I agree with what Candy was saying. Like, she's the boss. You know what I'm saying? You working for her or whatever. She don't have to have no extra conversation with you to, see what y'all can do or whatever. She already decided that she was going to fire you, or, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't like that Candy had this conversation in front of, the petty gang. You know what I'm saying? Don Juan and all of them. Her little minions. I didn't like that. I didn't like that she had this conversation in front of them. She should have took him to the side. She should have took Johnny to the side or whatever, or waited at a later date, took him to lunch or whatever to, confront him about the Instagram post or whatever, this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, continuing on with this conversation. So, she says that she was paying him every week and that he accepted the pay or whatever. And if he felt some type of way, he should have said something, which I do agree. If you felt like, you wasn't being compensated, right or whatever, even when she continued to bring you in to, still do stuff for her here and there or whatever, even though, she fired you to be full-time or whatever. If you felt like you wasn't being compensated for the stuff that she still, would call you in to do or whatever, you should have spoke the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? But, she pretty much is like, you could call me everything, but you can't call me fake or whatever, this, that, and the third. And, she was like, how about I take my fake money somewhere else, and this is the last day that we'll work together, this, that, and the third. Like I said, I wasn't mad at Candy with what she said. I just wish she wouldn't have that conversation in front of everybody. I didn't think that was right. But, anyways, moving on from that, we get Phaedra. She's in her office or whatever. Johnny shows up. And Phaedra, she's trying to think, like, Johnny who or whatever, this, that, and third. And when he walks in, she's like, oh, Candy's Johnny or whatever. And, Phaedra knows that, Candy and Johnny are close or whatever, this, that, and the third and everything. And he sits down and lets, her know that he left in February or whatever. And she was like, was this at your own will? And he was like, no, I got fired. He was like, did you know he was almost, he was an employee for almost 4 years. And, he was originally hired as the studio manager until they found out that he did events and everything. And, he was like that he never got compensated for his work or whatever. And he was like, he will work, sometimes he will work, almost 80 plus hours and only get 500 a week or whatever. I was like, ooh, damn. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that don't sound like a lot or whatever, and, Phaedra is like, oh my God, they running the plantation over there or whatever. And, he was like that he was supposed to go into the restaurant business with Candy and everything. But then all of a sudden she decided to do it with Todd. I mean, look, I don't know how true that is, whatever. So I'm not even going to speak on that. But, Phaedra, she says after her experience with Todd and everything, she wouldn't recommend anybody to work with him. And, Johnny is trying to figure out, can he get some back pay and all this other stuff, this, that, and the third. And Phaedra is like, she's going to stay out of it. This is not her line of expertise anyway, but she's going to send him some names of people that he could talk to about this or whatever. And she was like, she don't want the old lady gang, Candy's minions, Don Juan and Karma, and the streets to, come after her for getting involved in this bullshit. But no, I'm glad Phaedra didn't involve herself in this, you know what I'm saying? She, shut that down pretty quick. I'm glad that she decided to, hand the case over to somebody else. But, anyways, moving on from that, okay, let's talk about, Kenya and, Cynthia too, because Cynthia was involved with, this storyline with Kenya. So, in the beginning of the episode, Kenya and Cynthia, they go to some place for their dogs or whatever to, like, get a bath and all this other stuff. And, Kenya looked like she trying to tongue kiss her dog or whatever. She was like, give me a kiss. And all this other stuff. I was like, oh, girl. That's how you no ma'am. But anyways, um they talk about, her dad and, Matt or whatever, and how her dad was pretty much saying that they need time apart and how he needs to get therapy and all this other stuff, blah blah blah. And she's saying that they're not dating at this point. If things just come back together, then so be it, whatever. So Kenya mentions that she gets a call from Peter or whatever, and Cynthia, she's shocked. On the other side of town, we get Todd and Peter, at the car dealership. Peter is trying to, get him a new car or whatever, and, Peter talks about his grand opening, and, and how he invited Matt to come, and how, Kenya is supposed to be, hosting the event for him. So, we get back to Cynthia and Kenya, and, Peter wants, Kenya is telling Cynthia that Peter wants her to host the event, and, Cynthia, she's not asking them to choose sides. She's not asking the people in the group, in their clique or whatever, to choose sides or whatever. She knows that they all were cool with Peter and everything. She just wanted an invite or whatever. She feels some type of way. So back with Peter and what's his name? Todd. Peter explains that he doesn't know about, and he tells Todd, he doesn't know about inviting Cynthia, whether it be a good idea or not. So back with Cynthia and Kenya, Cynthia's like, Peter, is becoming besties with everyone around me and everything, this, that, and the third. I was like, well, like you said, I mean, they all had a relationship with him too, you know what I mean? But anyways, Kenya, she says that she wants Cynthia to come because she wouldn't feel right just being there by herself, and she's not going to take no for an answer. So Cynthia agrees to it. Then later on, they're at the hotel or whatever in Charlotte and everything. Cynthia says that, it's awkward, her being there because she wasn't invited by Peter and everything. He might have somebody else on his arm or whatever. I was like, okay, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so apparently, as they're trying to get ready and everything, Kenya, she, gets Cynthia or whatever, and tells her that Matt is having like an episode, as she would call it, again or whatever, this, that, and the third. And she explains to Cynthia that Peter checked with her to make sure that, it was okay for Matt to come to the event and everything, and how Peter paid for his plane ticket or whatever. I said, oh, Peter paying for plane tickets, but can't seem to keep a restaurant open. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. That was mean, huh? Y'all know y'all was taking it too. Don't try to make me feel bad. But anyway, so she's saying that she knows Matt needs his guy time or whatever. But, then Kenya realized that it wasn't a good idea. I'm like, Kenya, how the hell you gonna sit up here and renege on Matt? First you said it was okay for him to come, then you say it's not. How you gonna renege like that? But anyway, so, she told Peter to cancel his flight. She shows, Cynthia, Matt, on the shade room or whatever, saying how, Kenya canceled his ticket to come to Charlotte for Peter's event. And, he's texting her, sending her threatening text messages or whatever, saying that she's going to regret all this stuff or whatever. If she, if he sees her with another man, she's going to, he's going to make her regret it. If she calls the police, he's going to make her regret it. All this crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? And, he's posting pictures with his driver and all this other stuff. So they're like, is he in Charlotte and everything? Cynthia, she's starting to get concerned if Kenya should even be at this event and everything. And Kenya, she has a bad feeling that she shouldn't. So we get to the event and everything. Todd, he shows up or whatever. Cynthia, she shows up, and Peter, he looking like he about to have a damn asthma attack when he sees Cynthia and everything. Cynthia, she greets them or whatever. She says, she got invited by Kenya and everything. Cynthia tells, Peter what's going on with Kenya, how she might not be able to make it or whatever because of Matt. And, By the way, Cynthia looked fabulous. You know what I'm saying? But she, for the most part, she always looks pretty good or whatever. But anyways, uh. Oh yeah, so Cynthia and Peter, they go outside or whatever to talk and everything, and you know Peter explains why he didn't invite her or whatever. He didn't want to force anything, but you know Cynthia just would have rather him given her the option as to whether she would have wanted to come or not and everything. And Cynthia brings up the situation, with Kenya and Matt or whatever. Peter says, yeah, I canceled the ticket after she told me not to, let him come and everything. And he's like, I don't want to get involved in they shit or whatever. So, moving on from that, they go back inside to talk. Kenya, she's outside and everything. Peter goes outside, so he can escort her in. And, Kenya, she's like, I made a commitment to Peter and everything, and I'm not going to let Matt, stop me from doing my job or whatever. And so, as she's waiting for Peter, Matt's crazy ass, he walks up on Kenya's car or whatever, this, that, and the third. And then next thing you know, Matt, he hits the driver of Kenya's car and everything. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? You know what I'm saying? Peter, he finally comes to escort Kenya. And, she's telling Peter what the fuck just happened and everything. And, Peter is telling Cynthia about what happened when they come back inside. Todd and Peter, they go outside to call Matt or whatever. Matt says that the driver rolled the window up on his neck. So he's like, I slapped the bitch ass nigga in his face and all this other stuff. Now, I mean, if the driver did roll the window up on his neck, then that is kind of fucked up or whatever. I guess that might warrant him to slap the driver or whatever he did. But at the same time, I mean, Matt, you just looking real crazy in this situation right now. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so Kenya is telling Cynthia her version of what happened. Peter is trying to explain that Peter is trying to explain to Matt that he took shit to a whole nother level. And, Matt says that Kenya is a manipulator and that she calls him to come back or whatever. And when he comes, he shoots her away. And like I said before, we know Kenya is a manipulator or whatever. She does some sneaky sly shit. But at the same time, Matt, why the fuck you way too grown to be sitting up here, allowing yourself to look like this on TV. You know what I'm saying? It's like you keep on coming back. Ain't nobody putting no gun to your head telling you to come back and keep on trying to fuck around with Kenya. Nobody is telling you. So I mean, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? But anyways, Peter tells him, look, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. You just need to walk away from this whole situation. Then Peter and Todd, they come back or whatever. Todd, explains to Kenya about what Matt said and everything. And, Kenya says that, originally she wanted him to come. But, then she changed her mind and everything. And they all tell her to leave him alone and everything. This, that, and the third. So Peter, he's glad that Cynthia came or whatever. She compliments him on the restaurant, and he's like, my apartment is, 3 minutes from here or whatever. And she's looking like, okay, that's kind of awkward or whatever. I was just like, oh man. Oh man, that was crazy. I guess Peter thought, he was going to have a Nene Leakes and Greg Leakes situation. Y'all know when Nene and Greg, when they got a divorce, or when they got their divorce or whatever, they still was sleeping around with one another, this, that, and the third. I guess Peter thought that same situation was going to happen for him and Cynthia, but nobody. But anyways, that was the episode, y'all. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about everything. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you guys come back, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.